They're on the front lines when it comes to many man-made natural disasters. Generally front and center when a home is on fire. Firefighters have always been our heroes. And as Cameron County Historical Commissioner Jean Fernandez shows us, that's always been the case going back into the history of our border region.
Brenda, we're in front of a structure in Brownsville that if it were to, say, go up in flames, there would be a lot of very, very sad people. It's got quite a history. This is a central fire station for the Brownsville Fire Department. It was built in 1928. But let's go back. In the beginning of Brownsville, the city was incorporated in 1848. There were very, very primitive manners by which one would fight a fire. But now the specter of a fire terrified people in those days because there was a lack of technology. We had, at that time, all the way up until 1911, the horse that was drawing a wagon that had a pumper on it. And that was the extent of our technology at the time. Now, in 1911, the fire horse Jimmy went lame. So therefore, that prompted the city fathers to think about, all right, which manner are we going to do in order to get fire protection for our city? At that time, there was the introduction of certain rudimentary fire wagons without the horse. The reason that this was on people's minds here in Brownsville was because there were two very, very significant fires back in our history. One was in 1858 when an entire warehouse district went up in flames because there were kegs of gunpowder that were stored in Jeremiah Galvin's warehouse. Now that was one, almost burned the town down. When the Confederates left, they set fire to Fort Brown, and the entire city almost went up in flames. So that was on the minds of the people. Modern fire protection really started advancing on Brownsville in the year 1908. Prior to that time, the lodging for the fire department was in alleyways, little strips of territory that were no wider than 20 feet by about 40 feet in depth maximum. And it was like an orphan child. The old fire maps show that it was in various places around town in alleyways. Now, in 1908, they built the firehouse at Market Square. But at that time, we still had the horse-drawn wagons. It wasn't until 1917 that we actually got a mechanized fire wagon, and that was the jewel of the time. The entire valley actually got pretty much the same equipment. Weslaco, Mercedes, and Brownsville had these beautiful 1917 mechanized fire wagons. Then in 1928, we got the creme de la creme. It was a 55-foot-long ladder truck. And it was hard to get this into this firehouse here. The firehouse had just been built in 1928. Throughout our history, we have had a symbiotic relationship with Matamoros, our sister city, as well. And there are legal agreements that were struck throughout that time in order to allow us to go over and tend to Matamoros fires and they to come over here. The Christmas Eve fire of 1968 is a good example of that. The entire Market Square in Matamoros burned down, and our units went over there to assist. There were several fires, of course, throughout this past that we had done the very same thing, and gladly. The structure behind me here was built in 1928. Now, that was the first really full-on home for the Brownsville Fire Department. After that time, up to present, we had substations that were built over a period of time throughout the city, and now we have a tremendous fire department to serve our city. Quite a legacy with these firefighters that have literally saved lives and property of our citizens. There is a long history of their fraternity, and the rest is history. For KVEO News, I'm Eugene Fernandez.